Hey guys, what's up? RJ here, back with another awesome episode of Interviews with Entrepreneurs show, where we interview entrepreneurs who are super awesome in their niches out there. And today we have an awesome guest, and especially in our space, and with this situation that is happening currently out there, most people are going digital. Most people are going for virtual summits out there. They are getting into entrepreneurship because that is one of the most important things and most important aspect out there as well. So yeah, that is the main topic that we're going to be discussing about, and we have a special guest, the one that dominates the entrepreneurship market and also the virtual summits out there, Bailey Ritchert.
Hello, thank
Hey
you so
Bailey,
much for having me.
totally appreciate it. It is totally great to have you on our show.
Thank you.
Awesome. So I can see like many people are jumping on currently, guys. If you're live, use hashtag live. If you're using on replay, use hashtag replay out there. And again, Bailey, thank you so much for being on the show. Like just so the people don't know about the things, like could you tell us a little bit of backstory, like how you got started into the space?
Oh boy, yeah, it's a journey, right? I mean, like a lot of people, I didn't just have a straight path to becoming the business coach that I am today. I was valedictorian in high school and got a scholarship to go study engineering, which is what I did. And I graduated in 2010 and went to go work as an environmental engineer out in California. And I did that for slightly over 3 years, I think. And during that time, I had kind of a quarter life crisis. Really, I was around the age of 25, I think, when I first started having a lot of anxiety about my professional life, because I realized that the cubicle grind was not for me, like I'm sure many of you have also felt. And that's when I started getting
Yeah.
into the world of online business. Really, I had no formal training in it, no business background, anything like that. I started not in the coaching world, but I started doing info products in the travel niche. That was my first kind of foray into the world of online digital products and info products with courses and books and things. And I did that for a few years until I decided that I had enough experience to start sharing it with other people. And I launched my coaching business in 2015, I around there. I was running both of the businesses for a little while, but then I went full on with the business coaching. So anyway, I've been doing the coaching thing for a little over 5 years now about. And as you said, I'm a business coach for infopreneurs, which specifically
Yeah.
means people who are doing information, products, and services, mostly products. So we're talking ebooks, online courses, and things like that. And affiliate marketing is a part of that too. I do some affiliate marketing. I'm an affiliate for ClickFunnels and things like that. It's a great revenue stream to add on top of all the digital products. But as you said, one of the things I'm also pretty well known for these days are virtual summits, because I've been doing summits since 2016 myself. And then I also had an opportunity to work with Russell Brunson on several different summits. The first one that we did together was the 30days.com summit. It was $1 million summit in just 2 weeks, in just 13 and a half days.
Insane.
Yeah, it made over $1 million in sales. And that summit actually is evergreen now. So that was in 2018, and it's been bringing in sales ever since. So I don't know the specific figures because I'm not privy to that information, but I would guess it's made many millions of dollars by now. And I also did the affiliate bootcamp summit for him, which is a training for ClickFunnels affiliates. And a recent summit that I feel like a lot of people don't know about because it was kind of overshadowed by the pandemic, but the brick and mortar summit was something that we did and put out earlier this year as well, which was for physical brick and mortar business owners and how they can make money. And actually we didn't plan it. We had no idea a pandemic was coming, but it turned out to be a good way to serve the community, because a lot of people who had brick and mortar stores kind of needed to start learning about how they could make money online and bring in leads online and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy journey out there, like starting out with the travel agency and then getting mixed up with coaching and all of those things out there, and I work with like Russell Brunson. That is absolutely the craziest part. So so at what point that you thought about, okay, summits and entrepreneurship is your thing, because people start out getting into the journey out there. There are so many things they are doing up, so many things they're thinking that they're good at this thing or this thing or this thing. How you find out, yeah, this is my thing?
Sure. Okay, that's a great question. So when I started with the travel blog, it wasn't a travel agency. It was it was Infopreneur travel products. So I wasn't posting pictures of myself on Instagram. It wasn't like that. I was writing and doing info products about how to travel. And so I was talking about visas and passports and stuff. So when you ask me, okay, how did I get into it? I didn't do a summit back then because I didn't know what they were. I was not that good of a marketer back then. I was actually just thinking I would write books because I love writing. A lot of people know that
Yeah.
my coaching blog is a really pretty well-known blog. And so I love writing, and I thought, well, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to do travel books. And I did that. And it was okay, but I had to do online courses and other things to supplement the income because books, as you probably know, they're usually a lead magnet or they're a low ticket offer or something, right? So that's kind of how I first got into info products in general. That's how I knew that I wanted to teach info products because that's where my experience was. Now, if we're talking, how did I get to kind of be known as the summit queen? That all happened because of when I made my transition into the world of coaching. Whenever I was moving from travel to coaching, I was completely switching my niche, right? I was totally starting from scratch because the people I was serving over here who are travelers and the people I was serving over here who are wannabe business owners are two totally different groups. Like the Venn diagram is two circles, you know what I mean? And so I didn't have an email list. I didn't have authority as a coach. I really didn't know that many other coaches either. I was so new to the space. And so I had to find a way to grow quickly. But at the time, I had zero marketing budget for ads. And the truth is, I still don't even use ads that much because I'm not very good at them. But that's fine. I was mostly just an organic growth type person. But as you probably know, when you do organic stuff, it can take a while, right? Like sometimes it can be really slow. So, if you're blogging and you're YouTubing, all that's good stuff, but it can be slow. So I just wanted to focus on a growth strategy that was going to allow me to grow quickly, that I didn't have to invest $1,000 in ads. I didn't need a whole team. What could I do? And that's when I decided to do a summit. I had already known about summits. I had been a guest speaker on some summits, but I never hosted my own. And I didn't invent summits or anything like that. But what I did do was I created a process for doing summits that was simple and easy to follow. I did my first summit in 2016. It took 90 days, and I grew my email list by thousands of people. And I said, boom, this is it. Like this is the stuff right here. This is going to work. And so after that success, I felt like it was good, but I'm always striving for better. So I said, I think I can do this better. So it was 2017, but it was only actually 9 months later that I did the summit for the second time. It was the same summit I do every year called the Infopreneur Summit. And we between tripled and quadrupled our results, basically. So we had tripled our email list or tripled the email numbers from 2016, excuse me. And we had quadrupled the revenue from what we did in 2016 as well. And then we did it in 2018 and we did it in 2019. And we were getting the same results. We were getting really excellent, wonderful results. And so I, formalized this summit process into 90 days. And that's what I teach in my course and I do for my clients like Russell and things like that. So that's kind of how my experience in the summit world got started.
Well, that is definitely interesting thing because, you've done so many things into summit thing, done the process, and then also got into coaching stuff and also work with so many entrepreneurs, especially like even we talk about with Russell Brunson, as you said out there, you work with multiple summits with Russell Brunson and his program, 30-day summit and other as well, which is literally crazy. So I just want to ask that how, even after you got yourself your own summit and you you created other summits as well, how you be able to get the hold of Russell Brunson for the summit part that, hey, Bailey, you're going to be creating my summits and everything.
Yeah, that's a fun story. So I didn't actually know Russell until 2018. I had been a ClickFunnels user since 2015, I think. So for almost 3 years at that point, but I didn't know him at all. And I know, ClickFunnels is such a big community, but back then it was actually not small, but I think they only had 60,000 people, which isn't that many, right? So I went to their annual event at FunnelHacking Live, and it was in Walt Disney World, Florida. and I was having a really incredible time. And I had an idea. When I was sitting in the room, there was, at that time, the conference only had about 2,500 people. Now it's much bigger. But back then, there was only about 2,500 of us. And I just felt like, you know what? The information that these speakers are sharing is so good. And I really feel like more people would appreciate it if we did it online, because they have users all over the world that can't travel to Disney, or it's too expensive, or they didn't get a ticket or whatever. And I said, I think Russell should do a summit. But like I said, I didn't know Russell. And I knew that if I tried to, call him or something, he's a wonderful guy, but he didn't know me. So I would probably get brushed off. So I decided to talk to Julie Stoian instead. Now, I did know Julie, but here's the thing. The only reason I knew Julie is because she was a guest on my Infopreneurs Summit for 2 consecutive years in 2017 and 2018, I think, were the years. And so that it's through a summit that I got to know her. So it's all about connections. But I didn't connect with her in my summit because I thought she could help me down the road. I had no idea that she was going to end up working with ClickFunnels, because at the time she wasn't. She was just doing her own agency. So I thought, well, I know Julie, and Julie at this time was not the VP of marketing at ClickFunnels, but she was working with Russell a lot. And so I emailed Julie that night when I was at Disney World. I was literally in my hotel, and I had a friend that had come with me, and she was sitting in the opposite bed. I'm sitting on my bed, and I'm emailing Julie, and I said, Julie, I have this really great, amazing idea for a summit. If you think it's not good, I'll drop it, but I think it's amazing. Can you see if you can connect me with Russell, or what do you think? And I didn't hear back, which is fine. But then the next day, it was like midnight when I emailed her. So the next day I saw her, and I leapt at her and grabbed her arm, and I was like, Julie, I have this amazing idea. And she said, I know. I read your email. It's really good. I like the idea. Let me see what I can do. And she's like, just be patient. And really, that's kind of how it all got started. So Julie really advocated for me, and I'm really grateful to her for that, because, they could have just taken my idea, right? Because maybe Russell had that idea before. I mean, they didn't have to hire me, right? But Julie said to Russell, look, Bailey had this idea, and she's really good at summits, and I think, you should work with her. And so I really owe her a lot. But then it took a while to kind of get going, because after FunnelHacking Live, they all went on vacation, and then, the wheels grind slowly, But eventually we got connected, and it's actually kind of funny, because I was in Buenos Aires when they called me. So Russell voxed me on Voxer, on the phone. And I was in Buenos Aires, but I didn't tell him that. And we had a phone call on Zoom the next day, and he said, I want you to get started immediately. So I changed my flight, and I flew back home the next day, and we got started on the project. And it was pretty cool.
Absolutely, that is absolutely crazy, because as you said about that is absolutely making complete sense. That having a connection, but sometimes you don't know where those connections end up with, and at the proper time, it is absolutely crazy. So what do you think? There are other people who are doing summits as well. You saw, you are into that market. That many people are doing that. What do you think? What is the number one mistake that people make when they are having a summit and hosting and all of those things? What do you think that is the number one mistake they make?
Yeah, so definitely the number one mistake they make has to deal with the speakers. So first of all, people often choose the wrong people to be speakers on their summit. So you need to find somebody who is in your industry, of course, but they have to have their own email list, right? Because that's what you want, is you want to get their subscribers onto your email list, and you want to sell to their subscribers. So sometimes people will say, oh, I know this professor, and they'd be a really good person. And I say, well, if you want to interview them just to connect with them and build a relationship, that's fine. But you have to understand that professor, if they're not a business owner, as a lot of professors are not, right? They don't have an email list. They don't have a business. They don't have anybody to market to. So they're not going to be able to help your results from your summit at all, right? So I think that's a really big problem. But then another mistake that people make when it comes to the speakers is that they don't pick the right level of influencer. So let's say you've got this down. You say, all right, I know I got to go after business owners. I'm going to ask Russell Brunson to be on my summit. Well, that's not who you want to ask, because Russell is an A-level influencer, which means he's already rich and famous. He doesn't need
Yeah.
to be a part of your summit for exposure, right? So he doesn't look at your summit as a partner, right? So he's not going to promote for you, is the bottom line. Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, none of these people are going to promote for you. And they're not bad people. They get asked to do 1,000 interviews a day, right? So, if they say yes, they feel like they're doing you a favor, right? And they are, but they're not going to promote for you. So you really want to look for those mid-level influencers. So, Russell's up here, and then down here you got people who just started their business yesterday. You want someone in the middle, someone who has, not the huge audience, but enough, and they have a dedicated audience. So maybe 5,000, 10,000, or 20,000 people on their email list. I would take someone like that over an A-level influencer every day, because they're actually going to promote for you. They're actually going to see themselves as a partner with you. And that's who you really want to get on your summit as a speaker.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope that makes sense, guys. Anyone who have the plan in the future out there, having the summit out there, you need to, making sure these are the mistakes that you need to avoid out there in order to make some things work. So had you, you have done so many summits out there, and it is crazy. And especially at this particular time out there, however the situation is, more people are, going for virtual, even though they didn't have the plan, now they are doing that. So how you be able to handle all of those things out there? Is there something that you've created for your people out there, for your clients out there, so that they be able to handle these things on the basis that they know what they're doing?
Oh, sure. Like a resource?
Yeah, as a resource or something. How they be able to handle those things out there if they're new?
Yeah, definitely. Well, if you head on over to virtualsummitschool.com, I have a free masterclass. And when you opt in for the masterclass, you'll also get some free PDF downloads that include some instructions about how you can host a summit in just 90 days following my 12-step process.
Okay. So let me put it up. Virtual Summit School, if I'm correct.
Yeah, virtualsummitschool.com.
Awesome. So I just put it up, the link over there as well. So you guys can check it out as well. So, okay. So whenever I get into stuff and I interview other people out there, the most important thing that I talk about is the concept of Dream 100. That is by far is one of the most important aspect of traffic. How you do Dream 100? What is the thing that you think that, okay, this is the way that people need to do Dream 100 in the market?
Yeah, so this is a good question, because I think a lot of people think Dream 100 means something different to everyone. Okay, so I think there's some people out there, and it's in my opinion, it doesn't help that it's called Dream 100, right? Because we were just talking about it with the A, B, and C level influencers. If Russell Brunson is on your Dream 100 list, he's not going to promote your summit, so he's not really a good speaker. But so maybe he is part of your Dream 100. Maybe he is part of someone you want to connect with and get to be on your podcast or something. That's fine. But he's not the ideal person that you want to ask to be a speaker, right? Because he's not going to promote for you. So I think you need to think about, okay, when you were composing your Dream 100 list, was this your, it's like applying to college, your reach schools, was it were those people, your reach influencers or not? Because if they were, it's not going to benefit you to have them on. I had a client once I did a summit for. Now, normally I recommend you only have about 30 speakers, and he had 62, I think, which is insane. And I'll never do a summit that big ever again. But anyway, he was only interested in going after A-level speakers, only A-level, which was, I told him not to, but he wanted to do it anyway. In the end, of those 62 people, only 4 of them promoted for him, which is not good, right? 4 out of 62 is less than 10%. So obviously that's not great. And so unfortunately, he didn't see the results that he wanted to in terms of email lists and revenue and stuff. He built a lot of relationships, which hopefully he was able to leverage for something else later. But the results from his summit were not amazing for that reason. So I think that's what I think when it comes to the Dream 100.
Yeah, interesting about that. Yeah, some people do that particular stuff because it depends upon what type of a thing that you want at that particular moment and how these things works out. So during your whole journey that you've done so many things out there, what do you think about the pricing structure that people need to or people should charge out there when they are, when they are creating summit for their clients out there? What do you think in terms of pricing out there?
Well, it's hard to say because it depends on what niche you're in, right? I
Yeah.
mean, there are some people who are in niches that can charge a lot more because they're make money online or they're business niches, right? Than maybe somebody else. So it's hard to say. When I do my summits, I usually start the price around $67 for the all access pass. That's the product that we're talking about here, which is, a membership area that has lifetime access to all of the interviews, plus some bonuses, MP3s, ebooks and stuff. But you can also increase the price because it's a launch, right? A virtual summit is a launch. So you can increase the price at certain intervals, right? Maybe when the summit begins or when the summit ends. So 67 is an easy number because you can go up to 97, 127, 167, right? So it's pretty easy to increase from there. And then 67 is also a nice price because you can sell a PDF of notes as an order bump or something for around 27. So, that works out. But again, it just depends on your niche. I had somebody who was in a women Christian author niche. That was the person she was trying to sell to. And I might be not getting it exactly right, but I think she sold her all access pass for like $27 or something. And she had a 14% conversion rate, which is insane. That's insane.
Yeah.
And of
Crazy.
course, her price being low helped, but it's also because she was targeting stay-at-home moms mostly. That's, who her audience was. And she knew they just weren't going to pay $100 for these recordings and stuff. So I think she was really smart to consider that.
Yeah, makes sense. Absolutely. So I want to ask one last question before, we round these things up out there.
Yeah.
What is the one thing that you, throughout the whole journey, what is the one thing that you are grateful for by being in the part of this journey?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Nobody's asked me that before, I don't think. The thing that I'm grateful for, well, I mean, you can always point to the results, right? And say, well, I'm grateful for my income because it's allowed me to buy a house. I just bought a house last year, and I'm really grateful that, I can support myself, obviously, because we're in the middle of this COVID pandemic here in the United States still. And the fact that I can work safely from home and I didn't lose my job, I'm grateful for all of those things. I'm also really grateful for just the freedom. I love travel. And so one of the cool things I get to do with my job is that I can travel around to different places and work. I mentioned I was in Buenos Aires a couple of years ago, but more recently I was in New Zealand at the beginning of this year before the pandemic hit. I got home just in time. And before that I was in Colombia. So it's really cool that I get to travel and do my job. Hope we can't travel right now, but hopefully we will be able to again real soon. So I mean, there's so much to be grateful for. My life has totally been changed ever since I became a business owner for a number of reasons, not just because my income has increased. That's huge, but the lifestyle freedom, the people I've met, the networking, the opportunities, all that sort of stuff. There's so much to be grateful for.
Yeah, absolutely. That is absolutely great. So yeah, Bailey, where people can find about you more out there?
Thank you for asking. You could just go to BaileyRitchert.com. That has links to everything, my blog, courses, all that stuff. Like I said, the training is at virtualsummitschool.com. It's an excellent training. It's over an hour, but it really goes, in depth into all the 12-step 90-day process for launching summits. And I share a lot of my tips and tricks, even way more than I shared on this interview today, all about summits. So if you're going to do a summit, you'll learn so much from that. And I would love to connect with people as well. So they can always send me a message. My email is contact@BaileyRitchert.com.
Yeah, great. So again, Bailey, thank you so much for being on the show. It was literally great to have you on our show out there. Anything that you want to say before we round this session up?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I guess I would just encourage people, to think about doing a summit. I know a lot of people say, well, I feel like I don't have a big enough network or I don't have a big enough email list or anything. And I always get really sad when I hear people say that because I think they're kind of missing the point. Virtual summits are a growth strategy. So they will force you to grow your network. They will grow your email list because of the promotions. You don't have to wait until you are, established to a big enough degree in order to do a summit. You can do one when you're small. Take it from me. I did a summit when I had literally about, less than 100 people on my email list when I was just getting started, as a coach. So summits will help you grow a lot, and you don't have to wait until you have a big network or email list established or anything already, you can do them now. So I guess that's just my parting piece of advice.
Yeah, that is an awesome one. So yeah, again, guys, that is it for now. Thank you so much, Bailey, for being on the show. It is again great to have you. And yeah, guys, that is it. See you for the next interview. Until then, peace out.